really excited about today. We are headed over to DFW Airport, and I'm picking up one of my good friends, Joey. I've known him for probably 15 years, something like 12 years, something like that on the forums. And I drove out to pick up my Harley Valence from him about a year and a half ago, and dropped off my Harley 2000 Harley cap pipes, and he always had wished that I brought Fiddy with me, and of course it was 1,200 miles across the country one way, and not that Fiddy couldn't do that. I don't know that I could handle that, because that's just a lot in such a street-focused truck, but sport truck. But anyways, he decided to take a day off, and wanted to come out and visit Fiddy and stomp around to Dallas. So we're gonna go pick him up at the airport and let him check out the truck and have some good food and have a fun day. So I'll bring you all along for the ride. Guys, I picked up Joey at the airport. We had some lunch. It was fantastic, and I promised him that I would take him over here to this special mountain road, and it's kind of a little bit of twisty. It's nothing crazy, but for flat Texas, there's at least a couple hills here, some funner, more fun curves. Funner's not a word. But anyways, I figured I'd bring you all along for the ride as well. And I'll flip the camera around. it's nothing.
I'm trying to do around that. If I can hold.
If you can get up to 80.
I can get up to 80, but holding 80 on an uphill, that's another thing.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like, could I get up to 80? Oh yeah, I've done 80, 90. Up a hill? In a corner? Once again, it's not so much an insult to the motor or the drivetrain itself. It's just, well, 260 horsepower is going to do 260 horsepower things with a 4,000 to 5,000 pound truck. With a four-stroke transmission.
15. So that's the 15 fuse box over here where the battery used to be.
And still even doing a plug job on this thing ain't terrible.
And then that's the 15 PCM mounted in the factory location for the 15 on a PCM bracket.
Are these the 2 points you talking about? No, that's not.
Those are jump terminals, and that was a logistical convenience of merging the 15 and the 03 harnesses together. So the factory 03 harnesses had a battery connection there, right? And so, and the 15 had a battery sitting here. So all of the connections ended up together at the same points in the same area. So I had to bolt them together to make them play nice together. And I was like, well, might as well put the jump post there so I can charge the battery or jump off the truck if I need to without having to gut open the whole bed of the truck to get to it.
No kidding.
And then this guy was, somebody had it online. It was that and an engine cover, and I don't remember who makes them, but it's just a plastic cover that sits over the top of the tank.
Still using. That's still the same
factory booster. Yep. Okay. This is a bug or something here.
There's that fun. How did you you had to do some sort of modification to the actual steering shaft.
Correct. So I had to add, you can see, if you look down here, this is the a support, and I had to add a support because I added another universal joint.
It's probably the only way to get it to actually join up.
Because I needed to be able to get around the width of the motor.
Because I always remember when I first started seeing these things, the heads on them are just massive.
Yeah.
I mean, especially compared to...
And because the input for the steering rack is slightly inboard of where the input for the gearbox was, and it's closer into the engine bay as well. So the angle was all wrong.
That's right. You got there, man.
Thank you. So the angle was all wrong to come straight at it. So I had to kind of go around the engine a little bit. And then probably my favorite part of the swap is the fact that I used my factory airbox.
Yes.
And it makes me so happy because so many people talk shit about factory airboxes and how they're not any good. And I've like doubled my horsepower and it breathes just fine going through that same airbox. Now, granted, I did do the GOTS mod a long time ago, so I left that where it was.
But still, it's one of the simplest things to do.
But it makes me so happy that it's a factory airbox. And my favorite part is taking it to a car show and opening the hood, and people see the airbox and they think it's a factory engine, and then all of a sudden they're like, wait a minute.
I'd almost have a little fun taking this thing down to the Ford dealer and saying, hey, I need an oil change on it.
Yeah.
I was like, what you got? I was like,
Just see what they say.
That ought to be worth its own comedic value, because more the sense of, that ain't a 4.6.
Right.
That ain't a 4.6 at all.
No. Also, there's a nerd part of me that really likes the fact that the displacement is exactly halfway between a 4.6 and a 5.4.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. Oh, and you had an actual one.
Oh yeah.
How did you get in that height? I'm afraid they would ask you.
Garage kept.
Fair enough.
Because they see UV like, you know, a couple hours a week at max.
Man, I mean, you must have got those a while back then.
I have another set at the house too.
Yeah, and you ain't gonna really go those.
Nope.
Cheap.
Nope.
I know Josh had a brand new set of them. That I don't know if he ever sold or not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just still an amazing metal to go. It's just. I'd have a hard time. I mean, I understand some of the little quirks that come with it, but honestly, I would have a hard time not wanting to drive that thing every day.
Well, but that being said, you also understand how special the truck is.
Yes.
And how bad normal people are driving. And she, just like yours, has been in multiple wrecks.
You don't remind me on that one.
That
I mean,
you don't want to risk. It's a risk versus reward. And yes, the reward is always there when you can drive it.
But it would break your absolute heart. Some moron who isn't paying attention.
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
The worst thing that eventually came down to mine is because I've been hit 4 times in mine.
Right.
And after that last one, it was just like, why not?
Yes.
It doesn't make it. It doesn't make it right, mind you. But it's more to the sense of you get so used to it after the fact of just saying.
Yes, and the truck has so many rare parts on it, so many hand-built parts on it, so many custom parts on it that if something happens catastrophic to it, there's some of the stuff that I could never find again. There's some of the stuff that literally is one-off pieces that I would have to hand create again. And dealing with an insurance company where they're gonna go, oh, we'll give you $480 for this, and you're like, no. That took me 10 years to find it, and it cost me $1,000.
And it's more of the sense of, it's like, okay, fine. It's when you go to borderline saying, okay, fine.
Right.
You find me that part for that amount of money, and I'll get it.
An actual OE part.
Not some aftermarket. I mean, some things, like, the worst thing is if you actually get in a front-end accident with it where someone isn't paying attention and smacks into you. The grill, the lights,
find me a factory painted bumper. You know how hard those are to find that aren't destroyed?
Because about the only ones that really came down to them were the STXs, if you can find them, and they had the crap beaten out of them.
Or sports.
At that point, and they were more of like, while they were special trims, they were only like mid-level at best.
Right, and they've all been totaled and gone.
And constantly rock chipped to heck and back.
Right. Well, rock chips you can handle, but having whiskey dents and hit a trailer ball here and there, and
it's to the point where I can understand wanting to drive this thing every day, and trust me, I'd have a hard time not wanting to, but
at the same time, you respect my decision not to drive it.
Absolutely, because I understand.
You completely understand.
I understand the difficulty on finding a lot of these parts and more of the sense of the work that's put into it. Because, I mean, if you go down to it, I mean, just on the outside alone, not talking drivetrain at all, grill, lights, bumper, valence, shoot, the shell's actually really nice too on that one. The wheels and the tires, good lord. Yeah. I mean, even for rep wheels.
Right.
$1,500, $2 grand.
Yeah, the wheels are like $1,300 or $1,400 for 4 wheels, and then I think the tires, because I bought upgraded tires, I think the front tires, I think were about $700 for the front 2, and then I think the back was about $700 for the rears as well.
Talking borderline.
So I have $4 grand I'm rolling on
easily,
and they don't even. I mean, they're not billets and they're not flashy, and but they're high quality tires.
Yeah, now we're working to the point because this is something that's just years upon years upon years, and it's just some days you can just sit and stand there and just look at it, saying,
just look at it.
Yeah. That, I mean, it is absolutely incredible as far as just what's come down to, especially with some of the absolute rarity of these parts. Even the corners are so good.
Yeah.
I mean, original Visteon corners and headlights.
Yeah, you used to buy them all the time for a couple $100, $100 here, $100 there.
Can't do that now.
Can't find them.
Can't do that now.
So the battery, can I get you to put a hand on the cover here?
Oh.
Just one's fine. The battery lives up here. And
I can see how it's a bit of a pain to get out.
Yeah, and that's the floor has bolt hold downs, and then on top of that, the battery has a strap that holds it down. So it's like at the front of the bed, under a cover, under a strap, and then you have to lift the battery perfectly straight up with no access to finger holes and like.
Yeah, trying to listen to about a 40-50 pound battery with just with like,
straight up. But I love the fact that it's super hidden, and you would never know that it's there.
No, and more to the sense of it does. It's even with what you've done under the front of it, it's so smooth and it doesn't look like it's just something missing there.
Yeah.
You've just appropriately replaced it.
And then I got
where's that guy living at? Somewhere deep here.
You know what that is?
Is that to lower the spare?
Yep. So when I redid my cross member, I used a Dodge Caravan minivan spare tire winch that has the access from the top. And the reason I did that was because the profile, the height of the jack for the winch, if you will, is more compact. And by being more compact, I was able to get the spare to tuck up higher, so I can run. That's the tire. I need to buy another wheel for it, but I can run a full 20x9 spare tire underneath the truck and not lose ground clearance.
I'm actually wondering how the Expeditions one would look on those, because the interesting now the difference between the Expedition ones, as far as this piece right here, is it's completely one piece,
right, and
they don't have the hole for it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that would end up working, but if it could, that might do a little bit nice in cleaning it up.
It's not a bad idea.
So, but the only problem they may have is just right around here because of how they did the differences on the beds on these things.
I actually have a plan for the rear bumper that I'm going to be doing something completely different with it.
Ooh. I guess that's for another future.
That's another hand-built custom project that is in happening mentally behind the scenes, and I'm procuring parts still.
Of course, and they're not even cracked. A lightning third brake light without cracked lenses, because even mine were. I got a good decent deal on mine. Paid about $100 for mine, but had to replace the harness on it. Yeah. But even then, it was at the point where to even get a hold of these things, it's just you can't find them.
And I paid $100 for mine new, because I bought it new in 2008 or 2000. I think it was 2007 maybe.
That's almost, it's a borderline insult.
And it was right before they went to they went from $100 to $200 right after I bought mine.
And now it's to the point.
And now you
$300,
$400 for a used one that's broken and missing parts and doesn't work, and the circuit board's fried on it, and
it's insane. And that's kind of one of the unfortunate thing of it, because once again, Ford makes sense. They've made these. That ain't a throwback. I don't know what it is. With the chrome.
Well, you know, those are my custom taillights that I built in 2009. So the brake lights, the brake lights are Range Rover LED panels.
I think I remember that.
And the throwback chrome bulb is actually my running light. It's a red bulb in a silver housing, and I rewired with a relay. If I had the truck in reverse, it would turn off the running lights through a relay. And there was a separate Peanut 194 white bulb in there too. So it would like instantly switch. I made my own switchbacks before switchbacks were switchbacks. And I created it with a circuit and a relay, and it was able to turn off the running light while in reverse. Now that I'm coyote swapped, I don't have a reverse trigger on the transmission. I could technically wire it up through the BCM, but I really don't care.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't either at this point. It is a literal 180 high. I don't want even to get how many hours you put into this thing, besides countless.
Endless.
But all worth it.
You'll be alright. It'll be alright. There you go. Yep.
Was that noise like that, or?
No, that was when I hit a tire that was laying across the road in Dallas. And it knocked my grill and broke the tabs on the grill and pushed it had instantly folded it up underneath, so it broke all the paint, which I had it repainted after I got it from you anyways. But
yeah, because it was actually the paint on it wasn't bad.
It wasn't terrible, but I was having everything else painted on the front end anyway, so I was like, well, I'll just throw it in there with it. But
I've got another black grill on that one, but it has messed up tabs on it.
Yeah.
And there's a chrome one, but I can't. I gotta keep that. I'm keeping that with a black.
Yeah. $500 and they instantly gone. You're like,
just like everything else, these stacking up things is beyond ridiculous.
All right, ready to keep going?
Yep.
And that, I don't know if you saw or noticed, but it has the extended crank.
I saw from where you stopped.
Yeah, so modern vehicles, you can just bump the key and it cranks continuously until it starts. And on the 10th gen, you just crank, and then if you let go of it, it just stops cranking.
Yeah, I remember that. We had a